Hey guys, it's Alyssa from AlyssaNalani.com. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to week 2 of season 2 of Club 119. You will notice that my surroundings are a little bit different today, and that's because I'm filming in my bedroom. I had actually already filmed this video in my living room like I normally do, but realized when I went to go edit it that about 90% of what I recorded was not usable. I've been having issues and challenges with my camera setup, and it's not something I can fix right away. And so I just thought, instead of arguing with, fighting with my camera, that I would just prop up my phone and record it here at my desk and keep it pushing, because I don't have time and patience for it right now. So it's not quite as polished as what I would have wanted, but we're gonna just go ahead and start week 2. In spite of it all, I will try to sit right in front of the window that's behind me. I'm gonna try to keep my chair from squeaking. It does need a little bit of a WD-40 or something because it does squeak, so I'm gonna try and keep everything together as we go through this. Anyway, week 1, we went over the first 18 verses of James chapter 1. And in week 2, we're going to be going through the second half of the chapter with verses 19 through 27. So I have my Bible here, and I've got my traveler's notebook, which I am using to keep track of all things Club 119 this season. And we're just going to go ahead and read through verses 19 through 27, and then I'm going to talk about my 5 takeaways. Now, also, if you have come across this video and you're not exactly sure what's going on, you don't know what Club 119 is or what we're doing, then I invite you to check out the link in the description box for the welcome video, and that's where I explain all about what we're doing this season, what Club 119 is, and how you can get started. We would love to have you join this community and come along on the journey. So please definitely consider that. Okay, so I'm reading out of the New King James Version, and we're going to start in verse 19, and it says, "So then, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. For the wrath of man does not produce the righteousness of God. Therefore, lay aside all filthiness and overflow of wickedness, and receive with meekness the implanted word, which is able to save your souls. But be doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. For if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man observing his natural face in a mirror. For he observes himself, goes away, and immediately forgets what kind of man he was. But he who looks into the perfect law of liberty and continues in it, and is not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this one will be blessed in what he does. If anyone among you thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue, but deceives his own heart, this one's religion is useless. Pure and undefiled religion before God and the Father is this: to visit orphans and widows in their trouble, and to keep oneself unspotted from the world." Those are some pretty strong statements. This whole chapter is full of strong statements, and you'll find that the rest of the book is full of strong statements that are meant to convict and change us. Now, I'm going to go through my 5 takeaways that I have written in my journal. And really, with takeaways, these are just observations. These are just things that you have comprehended as you've been reading through the text at least once or twice. I do encourage you to do a read through a couple of times before you get into the study, if you're doing the study and application questions, and even before you do your scripture writing. If you are just doing the scripture writing, take just some time. There's only a few verses, it's not very long. And then write down what you have observed, what jumped out at you. Maybe there are specific things that really speak to you or apply to you, and count those as your takeaways. I encourage 5, and these are my 5. Number 1, God really cares about how I interact with others. I need to truly listen to what people are saying to me, not just hear what they say, but really listen to what they say and consider what they need from me, what they might need me to do or say, or what I need to act upon. I also need to check my words before they leave my mouth. I don't know about you, but that's been a personal struggle of mine my whole life since I started speaking. And then I also need to check my heart before reacting or responding to a situation or to a person. That's also a real big struggle of mine. All of these are a struggle of mine, which is why I wrote them down in my takeaways. Second takeaway is my actions need to line up with what I say that I believe. Number 3 is being a doer of the word is the way that we keep our faith active and alive. Otherwise, it's a bunch of lip service that, 1, does no one any good, doesn't do anybody a bit of good, and 2, does God a great disservice and makes me a liar. Number 4, my religion, this is ripped right out of the verse, my religion is worthless if I do not have control over my tongue. And then number 5, lastly, true religion really just boils down to how I behave in 2 relationships. The first, of course, being my relationship with God, and the second is my relationship with everybody else, with the people around me. And what I believe should govern my behavior in those relationships towards people, and it should govern my behavior towards God, how I worship him, how I reverence and regard him, and how I obey him. Those are my 5 takeaways. Again, these don't have to be brilliant, mind-blowing. They don't have to be complex. They can be very, very simple. What is it that jumps out at you? And what do you understand pretty quickly as you are reading it? Now, hold on, I'm gonna lose my page. Now, you can take time to study through the study questions and the application questions. This is a time now where we can write down our answers, write down any thoughts, journal our thoughts as we're also writing down the scripture. I also encourage you to then now take this conversation over to my blog. The link for the accompanying blog post is in the description box. And if you want to leave a comment, then definitely share what your takeaways are, and also share the answers to either any application questions that you might want to answer in the community, or if you want to, you can answer these 2 questions, or one of these 2 questions. I pulled them from the application question list. 1, what would change in your life if you had better control or discipline over your listening, your speaking, and your anger? And 2, what are some things in your life that are distracting you from hearing the voice of God? So you can answer those questions in the comments in the blog if you would like to. And then lastly, I want to challenge you to memorize the highlight verse for this week. I don't actually have it in front of me, so I can't tell you what it is, but it's in your your study and application journal for the week, and it's also in the blog post. So you can take a look at that and try to memorize it. And if you have memorized last week's verses, then let me know in the comments. Either here in the blog, here in the YouTube comments if you're watching this on YouTube, or even in the blog comments if you're watching this from the blog. You guys, I'm just gonna be honest with you, it's been a long day, and yeah, I'm trying to be okay with the fact that this is not as polished as I want. I'm going to be real with you guys. I want to be real with you guys. And let me just say that for those of you who follow me on Instagram and may have heard my stories this past week, I think it was yesterday, I've really been struggling with anxiety and feeling motivation and to just do some of the simple things. And what I know for a fact is when we make an intentional choice to be in the Word more or to create more routine in our spiritual journey, that the devil will come with a sledgehammer and just try to beat us up. And that's what I have felt during week 1. And I don't know if anybody can resonate with that, but I'm just letting you know. And I've been feeling a lot of frustration and just a lot of some of the more negative emotions. And I'm not going to go into detail, but if you can resonate with that, if you felt some of that during week 1 and you are just feeling anxious or tired or whatever it is, and I know we feel these maybe on a regular basis sometimes, but if you felt it more this week as you've been studying, I'm going to let you know right now, that's a good sign. Because it means you're doing something good and it's annoying the enemy. And he's going to try to make you stop. And what's ironic, if you will, is that we're talking about strengthening our faith and pressing through and being persevering through, being patient as we go through trials. And my prayer for this week has really been just praying the scripture from last week. Count it all joy when you go through various trials, because the testing of your faith produces patience. That was the highlight verse. I said it from memory. I actually had already memorized that one a long time ago, but pressing through the trials, leaning into the challenge, embracing the fact that this is something, if it's a test, that it's something that God is going to use to cultivate patience and to test and grow and mature my character so that I can become more like him. That's what this is all about. And so I didn't plan on saying all of that, but I just wanted to encourage you. If you feel like you are being just tested emotionally, or even in a specific situation, lean into the challenge. Pray through it, praise through it, and just know that God is going to use this situation and this experience to, if you allow him to, he will let it become part of your maturing process, which is exactly what James is talking about here in this first chapter. So I'm just going to let this go. My challenge is through getting this filmed and it not going the way I wanted to, and let it be part of the lesson. And just to let you know, this is really hard for me because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and to have something like this not be the way I wanted it is kind of a struggle. I'm not terribly OCD, but I am particular and I want things to look a certain way for the channel because I want you guys to get good content, but it's not always about that. It's about doing the best with what you have right now and allowing God to handle the rest. And so I'm just going to lean into that and be okay with that. And I'm going to stop rambling and end this video. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can leave them in the comments. If you're watching this directly on YouTube, then go to the description box, head over to the blog post for the study questions and the application questions. If you do not have a copy of my study and application journal, you can always get a copy in my shop. It's never too late. It's there in my shop. The link for that is down below as well. If you're watching this from the blog post, then all you have to do is scroll down a little bit and leave your comments whenever you're ready. I hope you guys have a great week too. I hope that you are being blessed so far. I'm loving seeing your comments and your pages in the Facebook group, which if you're not a part of the Facebook group, you can just make sure that you sign up for Club. Link is in the description. I love seeing your pages on Instagram. I get thrilled when I see your pages on Instagram, so keep them coming. And make sure that if you're posting on social media to use the hashtag Club119Writers. Because if you just post Club119, you'll see a bunch of other stuff that's not related to our club. So Club 119 writers, use the hashtag if you're posting on social media. Okay, I'm done. I got through this retake. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna send it out to y'all, and I will see you in week 2. I hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks so much for watching and bearing with me, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.